Hello everyone, I am Balaji Rao. Welcome to BR Max class. In last class, we did 6 problems on range of a function. In this class, I am going to do another 4 problems. You can observe all these are rational functions. They are all of the form f of x by g of x. And you can observe that in each function x square term is there. So this type of problems comes under one type. Whatever the problems we are doing today, they are little tougher compared to earlier class. You please go through last 6 problems. Then you can understand these 6 problems very easily. That 6 problems video link I will give in cards. Please find that link in cards. In last class, we understand the pattern, in what pattern we will do to calculate range of a function. What is that? We will do 2 things. First, I will calculate domain of a function. Second, to calculate range of the function, I will follow these 3 steps. What are those 3 steps? First, I will take given function f of x as y. After taking given function f of x as y, by simplifying, I will write x in terms of y. Write x in terms of y. This you can understand while doing the problems. I will write x completely in terms of y. Now third one, for what values of y x is defined? You check that for what values of y x is defined, that will be the range of the function. This you can understand when the problem is going on. So before going to start this class, please drop a like for this video. Without much delay, let's begin the class. You observe this question number 7. We need to find range of the function f of x equal to x divided by 1 plus x square. To calculate range of a function, we will do 2 things. First, I will calculate domain of the function. Second one, we will follow these 3 steps. First, I will take given function f of x as y, and then by simplifying, I'll get x in terms of y, and finally I'll check for what values of y x is defined. First, I want to calculate domain of this function. As it is in the form of f of x divided by g of x, this g of x cannot be equal to 0. You can observe here, this is 1 plus x square. This 1 plus x square will never be 0 because this minimum value is 1. So whatever real value you take, whatever real x you take in the denominator, this denominator is not going to be 0. So domain of this function is all real numbers. Now to calculate range, I will follow these 3 things. Step 1, you take given function f of x as y. Okay, let you take given function f of x as y. What is f of x? They given in the question. F of x is x divided by 1 plus x square. Okay. Second step is what? Write x in terms of y. To write x in terms of y, I need to do a little bit of simplification here. Cross multiply. What you will get? You will get like this. Y into x square plus y. You just cross multiply. You will get this. Here, a little tricky thing is there. What you want? You want x in terms of y. To write x in terms of y, here x square is also there, x term is also there. Observe this clearly what is going to happen. I'll write like this, y into x square, you take x to this side plus x to this side, it will become minus x is nothing but minus 1 into x plus y equal to 0. If you observe this, this is quadratic equation in x. You observe x square term is there, x term is there. So, by using minus b plus or minus root over b square minus 4a by 2a formula, I can calculate x here. So, to calculate x, I'll use that formula. X is minus b. Here minus of minus 1, that is plus 1. Minus b plus or minus root over b square. B square means minus 1 whole square. Minus 1 whole square is 1 only. B square minus 4 AC. A is y, C is also y. AC, y into y is y square divided by 2a. A means this one, 2y. I hope you understand. This is quadratic equation in x. To find x value, I used minus b plus or minus root over b square minus 4ac by 2a formula. Now you observe here, I got x completely in terms of y. See, this side x is not there. This is completely in terms of y. What happened? I written x in terms of y. Second step is over. What is third step? For what values of y x is defined? That means you are trying to calculate domain of this part. For what values of y x is defined? X is defined means when this is defined. When this is defined means I am calculating domain of this function. Okay, you already learned how to calculate domain of the function. Now I will calculate domain of this part. First thing, this is of the form f of x by g of x na. This denominator cannot be equal to 0. That means what is denominator? 2y. 2y cannot be equal to 0. That means y cannot be equal to 0. Second one, in this you observe square root is there. So we know that whatever the expression is there inside the square root, that must be greater than or equal to 0. So what I'll write here? I'll write that 1 minus 4y square is greater than or equal to 0. Now I need to find for what y values this inequality holds good. What I'll do, this complete inequality I'll multiply with minus. Then what happened? This will become 4y square minus 1. You know that for an inequality, if we multiply with a negative real number, inequality sign changes. Here this greater than or equal to changes to less than or equal to. Less than or equal to minus 0 is nothing but 0 only. I hope you all understanding. To calculate y values which satisfies this inequality, I want to write this in the form of y minus a into y minus b. To get into that form, I'll take 4 common. Take 4 common, what you will get? Y square minus 1 by 4 less than or equal to 0. I hope you are understanding. As 4 is a positive number, both sides you divide with 4, inequality remains same. This 4 will get cancelled. This y square minus 1 by 4 is there. Na? This 1 by 4 can be written as 1 by 2 whole square. Na? Y square minus 1 by 2 whole square. This is of the form a square minus b square. So this can be written as y plus 1 by 2 into y minus 1 by 2 less than or equal to 0. Okay, now you observe it is in the form of y minus a into y minus b. By using wavy curve method, I can easily calculate for what values of y this inequality holds good. So mark them on the number line as per number line order. You equate this to 0, you will get y is minus 1 by 2. So minus 1 by 2 first. Equate this to 0, you will get y equal to 1 by 2. Okay, in the rightmost corner plus and then alternate symbols minus plus, like this you write. Okay, now here less than 0 is there na? Less than 0 means negative sign. So I want this part. So y belongs to closed interval minus 1 by 2 comma 1 by 2. When y value is in this interval, at that time this inequality holds good. See, what is the domain of this function? The values which satisfies both the conditions. See here, this is the first one. Y cannot be equal to 0 and y must lies in this interval. Now I need intersection of these two. In this interval 0 is there? Yes, but y cannot be 0 na? So what is the range? Range is closed interval minus 1 by 2 comma 1 by 2 except 0. In this interval 0 is there na? I removed that 0. I hope you understand. So range of this function is what? Closed interval minus 1 by 2 comma 1 by 2 except 0. See, these problems are easy only. Please stay with me. Try to understand what is happening. Okay, you observe this question number 8. We need to calculate range of f of x equal to 1 divided by 1 minus x square. To calculate range of this function, we will do two things. First, I will calculate domain of this function. As it is in the form of f of x divided by g of x, na, the denominator cannot be equal to 0. That means 1 minus x square not equal to 0. 1 minus x square not equal to 0 means x square is not equal to 1. If x square is not equal to 1 means x is not equal to plus or minus 1. If x is plus 1, denominator is becoming 0. If x is minus 1, then denominator is becoming 0. So I need to remove these values from the domain. So what is the domain of this function? Domain of this function is all real numbers except plus 1, minus 1. Now I need to calculate range. To calculate range, I'll follow these three steps. First, I'll take given function f of x as y. Let y equal to f of x. Okay, y equal to f of x. What is f of x? In the question only given that f of x is 1 divided by 1 minus x square. Now what is second step? I'll write x in terms of y. I'll write x in terms of y. Okay, to write x in terms of y, I'll cross multiply. Cross multiply, what you will get? Y minus y into x square equal to 1. What you want? You want x in terms of y na? So what I'll do? I'll take this term to the right hand side. Then what you will get? You will get that y minus 1 equal to x square y. Okay, from this, what is x square? From this, x square is y minus 1 divided by y. What I want x in terms of y. You apply square root on both sides. What you can write here? X equal to plus or minus square root of y minus 1 divided by y. I hope you are understanding. What happened here? I written x in terms of y. You can observe, I written x in terms of y. So here second step is over. I written x in terms of y. Third step is what? For what values of y x is defined? For what values of y x is defined means I am trying to find domain of this. For what values of y this is defined? This is nothing but x. I hope you are understanding. Now what I need to do? I need to calculate domain of this part. As this expression is in under root, now whatever the expression is there in under root, that must be greater than or equal to 0. So y minus 1 divided by y will be greater than or equal to 0. And it is in the form of f of x by g of x. Now this denominator cannot be equal to 0 and y cannot be equal to 0. Now you need to find the y values which satisfies both the inequalities. You observe here this y is there. Now y can be written as y minus 0 now. Y can be written as y minus 0. Why I written like this? If it is in the form of y minus a divided by y minus b, I can easily calculate y values by using wavy curve method. You equate this to 0, y minus 1 equal to 0 means y is 1. Okay, mark them as per number line order. You equate this to 0, y is 0. Now in the rightmost corner you write plus and alternate symbols, minus, plus. Now greater than 0 means which sign you want? You want positive sign. So what are the y values you will get here? Y belongs to positive sign. Now positive sign means what you will get? Minus infinity to, here equality is there. Equality is there. I'll include that. Closed 0, union. Positive sign I want now. Closed interval 1 to open interval infinity. So these are the y values satisfies this part. Now what I need? I need combination of these two. Here y cannot be equal to 0. In this y equal to 0 is there. In this interval 0 is there. Yes. Closed 0 means 0 is included. But y cannot be 0. So what about range? Range is open interval minus infinity to open interval 0. Open interval 0 means 0 is not included because y cannot be equal to 0. Union closed interval 1 to infinity. And one more thing you need to consider, x value cannot be 1, x value cannot be minus 1 because those values are not in its domain. Is it possible that x value plus or minus 1? I'll check here. In this equation, in place of x, I written plus or minus 1. Okay, equal to plus or minus root over y minus 1 divided by y. You square this on both sides, what you will get? 1 equal to y minus 1 divided by y. Okay, now you cross multiply, what you will get? Y equal to y minus 1. Y will get cancelled, you will get 0 equal to minus 1. That means what? It is not possible. That means whatever y value you take, x will never be plus or minus 1. So nothing to worry about this point. Nothing to worry about this point. In last class I said that sometimes this changes the range. So you need to consider this point also. Okay, so finally what is the range of this function? Range of this function is open interval minus infinity to 0 union closed interval 1 comma open interval infinity. You observe this question number 9, range of the function f of x equal to x square divided by x square plus 1. To calculate range of the function, first we will calculate domain. This is in the form of f of x divided by g of x. Now this g of x cannot be equal to 0. Here x square plus 1 is there. Now whatever real x you take, x square plus 1 will never be 0 because minimum value of x square is 0. Whatever real x you take, minimum value of x square is 0. So this minimum value is 1. This will never be 0. So what is the domain of this function? This function is defined for all real numbers. So domain of this function is all real numbers. Now I need to calculate range. To calculate range, I will follow these 3 steps. First step is what? You take given function f of x as y. You take given function f of x as y. So what is f of x? In the question they given that f of x is x square divided by x square plus 1. Now what I need, second step, I want to write x in terms of y. To write x in terms of y, what I'll do, I'll simplify this. Simplify, what you will get? Y into x square plus y equal to x square. What we want x in terms of y. Now you take x square to this side and take x square common. What you will get? Y minus 1 into x square equal to minus y. I hope you understand. Now what I need x in terms of y. What is x square from this? X square is minus y divided by y minus 1. Here minus is there. Now what I'll do, numerator denominator I'll multiply with minus. So what I'll get? I'll get that x square equal to y divided by 1 minus y. Now what I need? I want x in terms of y. So for that I'll apply square root on both sides. What you will get? X equal to, apply square root on both sides, x equal to plus or minus root over y divided by 1 minus y. Second step is over. I written x completely in terms of y. Second step is over. What is third step? for what values of y x is defined. That means for what values of y x is defined. Now I need to find domain of this. You know how to calculate the domain of the function. Whatever the expression is there in under root, that must be greater than or equal to 0. That means y divided by 1 minus y must be greater than or equal to 0. And one more thing, this is of the form f of x by g of x. This denominator cannot be equal to 0. So 1 minus y cannot be equal to 0. That means y cannot be equal to 1. Now to find for what values of y this inequality holds good, I need this in the form of y minus a divided by y minus b. Here this is not in the form of y minus b. This inequality I will multiply with minus on both sides. If I multiply with minus on both sides, what it will become? Y divided by this 1 minus y will changes to y minus 1. I hope you are understanding. For an inequality, if we multiply with a negative real number, inequality sign changes. This greater than or equal to changes to less than or equal to 0. If it is in the form of y minus a divided by y minus b, by using wavy curve method, I can easily say for what values of y this inequality holds good. So here this y I can write y minus 0. Y minus 0 is same as y only. You mark these numbers on the number line. Now equate this to 0, you will get 0. Equate this to 0, you will get 1 in the rightmost corner. Plus and then alternate symbols. Now less than 0 means negative sign. So I want these values. So y belongs to less than or equal to 0 is there. That's why closed interval 0 comma 1. I need to consider this one also. Here y cannot be equal to 1 is there. In this interval 1 is there. Here closed interval is there. So I need to remove it. So what is the range of this function? Range of this function is closed 0, open 1. 1 is not included because y cannot be equal to 1. Therefore, the range of this function is closed 0, open 1. I hope you are understanding. Try to get the pattern. In what pattern we are doing all these problems. You observe 10th question. Range of the function f of x equal to 3 divided by 2 minus x square. To calculate range of this function, we will do two things. First, we will calculate domain. What is domain of this function? Given function is in the form of f of x divided by g of x. Now, this denominator cannot be equal to 0. That means 2 minus x square cannot be equal to 0. That means x square cannot be equal to apply square root on both sides. That means x cannot be equal to plus or minus root 2. So if x is plus root 2, then this denominator is becoming 0. If x is minus root 2, then also this denominator is becoming 0. Then this function is not defined. That's why we need to remove those values from real numbers. So what is the domain of this function? Domain of this function is all real numbers except the values of root 2 minus root 2. This is the domain of the function. Now I need to calculate range. To calculate range, I will follow these three steps. First step is what? First you take given function f of x as y. What is f of x? In the question they given that f of x is 3 divided by 2 minus x square. So I taken given function f of x as y. First step is over. What is second step? I want x in terms of y. I want x in terms of y. To write x in terms of y, I will do little bit of simplification. You cross multiply, what you will get? You will get 2y minus x square y equal to 3. What you want? You want x in terms of y. So what I will do? I will take this to other side. Then 2y minus 3 equal to x square y. As I want x in terms of y, I will take y to this side. Then what you will get here? X square is 2y minus 3 divided by y. You want x na, here x square is there. You apply square root on both sides, then what you will get? X equal to plus or minus square root of 2y minus 3 divided by y. X equal to, you got like this. You observe, I written x completely in terms of y. You see, x in terms of y. Second step is over. I written x completely in terms of y. What is third step? For what values of y x is defined? For what values of y x is defined means we need to calculate domain of x. X is nothing but this na, that means I need to calculate domain of this. You know already how to calculate domain of a function. As this expression is under root, whatever expression is there inside the root, that must be greater than or equal to 0. So 2y minus 3 divided by y, this must be greater than or equal to 0. It is of the form f of x by g of x na, this denominator cannot be equal to 0. And y cannot be equal to 0. Now, to get the y values which satisfies this inequality, if it is in the form of y minus a divided by y minus b, by using wavy curve method, I can say easily. But here, this is the y coefficient 2 is there. I want y coefficient 1. So, I'll take 2 common here. If you take 2 common, what you will get? Y minus 3 by 2 divided by, this y can be written as y minus 0 greater than or equal to 0. As 2 is positive, you divide both sides with 2. This 2 will get cancelled. 0 by 2 is 0 only. I hope you are understanding. Now this is in the form of y minus a divided by y minus b. To get the y values which satisfies this inequality, I'll use wavy curve method. Equate this to 0, what you will get? Y equal to 3 by 2. 3 by 2 means 1.5 something, so I written here 3 by 2. You equate this to 0, you will get y equal to 0. You mark them as per number line order. What next? Rightmost corner plus and then alternate symbols. Here greater than 0 is there. Greater than 0 means this positive sign I want. So what are the y values which satisfies this inequality? Open interval minus infinity to, here equality is there na, closed 0 union closed interval 3 by 2 to infinity. Why I written closed brackets? Because here greater than or equal to is there. I need to consider this also. Y cannot be equal to 0. In this interval 0 is there. Here closed 0 is there na? Closed 0 is there means 0 is included. But y cannot be 0 na? So what about range? I need to remove 0, right? What about range of this function? Range of this function is open interval minus infinity to open 0. Open 0 means 0 is not included. Union closed 3 by 2 to infinity. This is range of this function. I hope you understand this. You can observe last class whatever the 6 problems I did, they are all of one type. And you can observe today what problems I did, they are little similar to previous class, but small change is there. Try to understand what pattern we are following to find range of the given function. I hope you understand this class. If you like this video, please drop a like for this video and share this video with your friends. In case if you are not yet subscribed to my channel, subscribe now. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.